Attention passionate Montreal, Canadiens fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the Atlantic Division and it could shake up the entire conference. We're talking about a direct impact on Montreal Canadiens' path to another Stanley Cup run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Montreal Canadiens fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Montreal, CANADINS FANS. Let's get to the news. Now, folks, today we're diving into some electrifying rumors and potential moves that could redefine the Montreal Canadiens roster and their prospects for the upcoming season. We all know that the Habs have been busy this offseason, making some strategic trades and signings, but this latest buzz is about a possible blockbuster that might just turn their fortunes around in a big way. The rumor mill is swirling around a potential trade involving none other than Evgeny Malkin from the Pittsburgh Penguins. Yes, you heard that right. A player of Malkin's caliber and experience, entering the final year of his contract, being linked to Montreal. And let's be honest, this isn't just any rumor. It's one that could have serious ramifications for both teams and quite possibly for the entire Atlantic Division. So, what's the story here? Well, heavy. Com recently floated an intriguing trade idea that has Montreal acquiring Malkin from Pittsburgh in a blockbuster deal. The Canadiens would send over a young forward Datch and a second-round pick in this year's draft. Now Datch, as many of you know, was drafted third overall back in 2019, and while he's shown flashes of promise, injuries have hampered his development. Last season, he managed to put up 10 goals and 12 assists in 57 games, but the potential is there, and the Canadiens see him as an important piece for their future. Still in this scenario, Montreal would be willing to part with him for a player like Malkin, who, even at nearly 39 years old, remains an effective and impactful player on the ice. Malkin's stats last season are quite impressive: 16 goals, 34 assists, totaling 50 points in 68 games. He's been a cornerstone for the Penguins for many years, a key contributor to their 3 Stanley Cup victories, and a former MVP back in 2012. Even at his age, he's still got that veteran savvy, leadership and skill that could be invaluable for the Canadiens as they look to build a competitive team that can challenge for a playoff run. His presence in the locker room, his experience, and his leadership qualities could be exactly what Montreal needs to push their young core to the next level. And of course, having a player like Malkin in the middle provides a bridge between the team's youth and the veteran experience, which is often what separates good teams from great ones in this league. Now, you might be asking, why would the Penguins consider trading Malkin? Well, the situation in Pittsburgh is quite clear. Team is entering a phase of reconstruction. The Penguins are going through a rebuild process, and with Sidney Crosby still anchoring their leadership, there's a sense that the team might want to start fresh in other areas. Malkin, entering the last year of his contract, hasn't been offered an extension, and rumors suggest that Pittsburgh is preparing to part ways with him. An NHL executive even suggested that Malkin could get traded before the deadline, which would be a strategic move for both sides. The Penguins could look to rebuild around their younger players like Sidney Crosby, or perhaps even start a new chapter with a different core, while Malkin gets a chance to join a team like Montreal that's eager to contend. Furthermore, this move could send a clear message in the NHL. Montreal is not just content with rebuilding, but is actively seeking to accelerate their competitiveness. GM Kent Hughes has been quite open about his desire to build a team capable of competing for the Stanley Cup, and making a splash with a player like Malkin would certainly turn heads. Remember, Montreal last season made the playoffs, which was a significant step forward after a few rough years, and they're eager to build on that momentum. The addition of a veteran like Malkin can bring a winning mentality, playoff experience, and that intangible leadership that can elevate a team in critical moments. And let's not forget, Montreal has been quite active this offseason. They traded for Noah Dobson, a talented defenseman with a lot of upside, and Zachary Bolduc, a promising young forward. They also signed Joe Veleno, a former first-round pick who has shown flashes of brilliance. These moves demonstrate that the Canadiens are serious about retooling their roster and creating a team that can contend sooner rather than later. But the addition of a player like Malkin could be the final piece that puts them over the edge, especially when it comes to strengthening their middle six, which has been a point of concern in recent seasons. Now, for Montreal fans, I know the idea of acquiring a player of Malkin's stature is exciting. He's a proven winner, a Hall of Famer, and someone who could serve as a mentor for young talents like Ivan Demidov, helping them develop their game and navigate the pressures of the NHL. Malkin's ability to still produce at a high level, his 50 points last season proved that, makes him an attractive option for teams looking to add veteran depth and leadership. And with his experience, he can be a stopgap in the middle for this season, providing stability and offensive production while the team continues to develop its younger players. Of course, there are questions about whether the Canadiens should make such a bold move. Some fans might worry about trading away a young player like Datch, who has a lot of potential but has yet to fully realize it. Others might wonder if Malkin's age and contract situation are worth the risk. But in the world of the NHL, sometimes you've got to take calculated risks to push your team to the next level. Montreal is in that position now. They've shown they're willing to be aggressive, and adding Malkin could send a message that the Canadiens are serious about competing now, not just rebuilding for the future but building for the present as well. Looking ahead, this potential trade has broader implications for the Atlantic Division and the league as a whole. If Montreal manages to land Malkin, it could shake up the standings, especially if he continues to produce at a high level. It would also set a precedent for other teams to be more aggressive in their pursuit of veteran talent, especially as the Penguins prepare for a full rebuild. It's a fascinating situation because it combines the element of a veteran player nearing the end of his career with a team eager to contend again, and a franchise in Montreal that's hungry for success. In the end, what does all this mean for the Canadiens? Well, it's about seizing opportunities. It's about showing that they're willing to make bold moves to climb the standings faster. And it's about adding a player who, even at nearly 39, can still make a difference on the ice. Malkin's leadership, skill, and experience could be exactly what Montreal needs to take that next step toward becoming serious contenders once again. And for us fans, it's an exciting story to follow, a potential game-changer that could define this franchise's direction for years to come. And now, Montreal Canadiens fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Do you think acquiring Evgeny Malkin would be the right move for the Canadiens? Would you be willing to part with Datch and a second-round pick for a player who can still produce and lead? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Canadiens. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates and insights, so stay tuned for the latest Montreal Canadiens news. This is an exciting time for the franchise, and we're here to cover every twist and turn along the way. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Habs!